You do not want to place yourselves one above each other. If one person falls, the two of you find your way at the bottom in a heap. Walking traverses is probably easier than walking straight up. There are potentially some circumstances where we can't ski a toboggan out, but we can still use other techniques to lower that toboggan. In those instances, I would probably try and find one of the lift-evac ropes. I would secure the lift-evac rope to the toboggan. I would probably use a figure of 8 on a bite. Once I've tied my figure of 8 and a bite to the toboggan, which would be slightly different from this, I'm using this setup because I have the equipment with me and because it's cleaner and quicker for this demonstration situation. My body is not integral in the chain that's carrying all the tension. I'm secured right now to a great big tree. I would much prefer that than you put your body in that situation. If you have absolutely no choice on a completely bare open snowfield, and maybe 2 or 3 of you strung across, dug in as well as you can with ropes across your backs like we do lift-evac, but it's a much more tenuous situation than what we're playing with here, where this is not going to go anywhere. Here what I've done is another figure of 8 on a bite, and if I'm going forward making use of the lift-evac rope, which has been secured to the toboggan, then I could take the other end of the lift-evac rope, like I've done with this rope up here, tie a figure of 8 in it, put it around the back of the tree, refollow my figure of 8 through, so I've got a figure of 8 on a bite, and now I've got the rest of my rope available for me to do whatever I have to do with it. No matter how we do this, we got to come up with a way to generate enough friction to control that load. One way we could do that is we could just simply take the rope around the tree a couple of times and use the tree as a thing to put friction in the rope. That's going to be really, really hard on the rope, and I would much prefer you didn't do that. One thing that I failed to mention, whatever anchor we use, I want the knot at the back of the tree. Here, if I'm using a piece of rope that I've tied a figure of 8 in, I put the knot at the back, because friction between the tree and my rope reduces the amount of tension on the knot and reduces the risk that my knot will become untied, slide through. Here I have a sling which has already been made up, and if you have the privilege of a sling that's been made up, that's a really useful tool to use. I've wrapped it around the tree and through itself, if I may illustrate or demonstrate. I took my sling, draped it over from behind the back of the tree, put one end of the sling through the other end of the sling, and then I put my lock, pulling in a straight line. The farther out of line I get, the more additional force I end up with going crosswise in this, which increases the amount of tension and increases the amount of risk that something's going to slip. What I was saying earlier about friction against the tree is a demonstration of that. How to? Can you pull on this loop? I'm sorry. You see this loop? See how loose it is? Because of the amount of friction I'm generating around the back of the tree. Now, my rope that goes to my toboggan, I have to come up with a way to control the rate that it goes down. And there's this knot, which is shown in our manual, called a Munter's hitch. If I loop the rope over the carabiner like this, it just slides. And the amount of force here is the same here. Whichever end, it doesn't matter. I put a loop on top, like this. I then continue to rotate in the same direction, and I put this loop on here. And I have this knot that generates huge amounts of friction. And finally, I much prefer that we use locking carabiners for this, because no matter what happens, I'm not going to have to worry about the carabiner popping open. So the first thing I'd like each one of you to do is tie this knot. Once more?
You want me to do one more?
Sure.
We have more than things in wine and wine too.
Key.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Now, Lisa?
Alright.
A second.
I figured I might come down here to meet you, but...
That's it, we're on. Now, hold on a second, Lisa. The next part of this is an act of faith. It's an act of faith. Who tied the knot?
I did.
For the second time ever in your life, right? Okay. I'll get on it.
Hey, dig it. Dig it before you do whatever you're doing.
Lower me.
Fairly.
You want
got
that-
broken ribs. You sure you want to do
Lower
this?
me, please.
Do you want that prosecco, Farrell?
How
Oh,
far?
yes, please.
Right, hang on, Lisa.
Hang on, Lisa. Stop, please.
I'm going to put this around my back. First.
Okay, nice with you, Farrell.
Thank you.
Well done.
Alright. You sure you want to do that?
Get it right.
Okay.
Okay. Lisa, how much force does it take to control this?
Nothing.
Exactly. That's
But
the...
I've
Keep going.
I've done people before, and this can roll over and hurt you. Understand? Okay, but I really, I think this...
Sean, you keep loading and stuff.
She's telling us the reason why you sit down and keep doing it. Just keep it going.
Okay.